Hi, and welcome to Old Guys Gentlemen Flex Pens. I think this might be 19. And what I'm going to review today is one of the prettiest pens. I did have this nice Parker Major Maxima double jeweled, and she's still pretty good looking. But there's something really cool about this pen with the jeweled ends. And the light's not quite right here. But there's cool cobalt kind of blueness up in here. Sorry, I can't really show you this as well as I want to. But it's just really neat. And this looks like it's black, but it's actually, go back to this again. It's actually all blue. Isn't that cool? And I believe this is a 1942 100-year pen. You can tell from the style, but you can also tell from the nib, if it'll focus. Waterman 100. I'm stretching over trying to read this from the side. Pretty sure this is 100-year pen. It's just a gorgeous pen. That blue just really grabs my eyes. And if I didn't have the sack in here, the black sack, this is also that deep kind of cobalt blue behind it. And so while it looks black at first glance, it's giving off hints of cobalt blue with it, or at least I think so. One of the only faults I have in it is this is a pretty thin section here, and you can see there's a little bit of a crack. That crack actually kind of comes down and goes over here. Very tight crack. I'm going to be experimenting, not on this pen, but on some other materials to see what I can do with celluloid stuff like this, as opposed to sending it out. If I send stuff out, I never learn anything. Although if I don't send stuff out, maybe I destroy some things, and I hate to destroy this. But these are the trials and tribulations of old guy. The nib is like a medium flex, in between rigid and medium flex. Actually, it's definitely medium flex, although I had to put a fair amount of pressure on to get this kind of a variation. This is very fine here. It's like triple extra fine, and probably don't want to push it any further than double bold. You can kind of see how it changes with the strokes here. Let's do another hello. When I first got it, I think that the lines were more on the order of fine to extra fine, but I like it finer than that, and so I worked on the point a little bit until I got this triple extra fine. And when I did that, I think the amount of variation I got went from maybe triple broad down to double broad. But as you can see from the writing up here, mostly what I do is I live in the region of this triple extra fine, or the heavier hand, maybe double extra fine, and I'll go up to this area in here, and I don't know what that is. More like a bold or double bold, probably bold. So I'm probably going from triple extra fine to bold. Which is funny when I look at that, because I think, I pass up a lot of pen opportunities that show really fine to double bold, and I kind of go, it doesn't flex enough. But in actuality, this is some of the nice kind of writing that I like to do. What else can I show here about my favorite Coca-Cola? One of these days I'll be able to do this really well. Let's see if I do this down. I never bring the loop down far enough. I think what you're supposed to do is have, oh, you can't even see that. I'm sorry. I think what you're supposed to do is have, that's a little bit of line variation, and then very light, and you come around almost equidistant on the C. Well, one of these days I'll get it. It's a smallish pen. I wish it was a little bit larger. I'm going to go get a ruler because I didn't measure it ahead of time. Voila! So it is capped or posted about 13.8, which is okay. I mean, if I was doing my Maxima, and this is a big pen. Yeah, it's just only just a little bit longer. You know, another one of my favorite pens is, and this is another big pen, I guess. This is the Pilot Heritage 912 that's been customized by John Motashaw. So it's slightly longer, but it's not as short as one of my top 3 pens, which is this Conklin 20P, 25P. Oh, Liar Pants on Fire. This is actually larger. How'd that happen? It's slightly shorter when it's capped. What other pens? I think this is my smallest one. Maybe Todd Swan. Maybe Todd Swan. And it's a lot shorter that way. I'm curious what length it is. I don't know whether I'll keep this all in there. Well, it's slightly longer than that. So it's definitely in the category of smaller pens. But it fits well like that. Not posted. I want to feel. I feel insecure like this. I don't know how else to say it. Insecure, secure. Nervous, insecure, secure. Okay, I have not been drinking, in case you're wondering that. I had some fun with this when I got it. It was kind of expensive. I think I got it on Etsy, and it was not in that great a shape. I will post a picture right here. And when I got it, what I did was, well, a lot of things. I pulled it apart. The bag had disintegrated, and there was nothing but, I'd never seen ink caked in here like it had been. The thickness of the cylinder of ink that went almost all the way throughout was on the order of 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch. And half of it came out pretty easily, and the other half involved a lot of scraping. But I have to be careful, because if you scrape too much, then you mar the inside of this thing, although you wouldn't really notice it. So I got all that out and cleaned this. This had some caked up ink in it, the feeder. Or the feed, excuse me. Did some repositioning of the feed to the nib. The nib was in pretty good shape. All I did there is I polished it a little bit. It was really shining before. I guess a really polished nib is a fleeting thing. There we go. And polished the bottom of the feed a little bit. So then what I did is I went ahead, and this had a bunch of fine scratches in it, so I did a progression of, well, first I polished it to see what I would get, and what I got was a polished jewel with some faint little scratches in it. So I went back and sanded it through from about 1200 grit to 12,000 grit, and then some jeweler's rouge, and then ultimately some simichrome polish. And then after that, I think I used my little jeweler's polishing cloth. I don't know if that's a step backwards or not. I'm not sure if this has any grittiness or any to it. And then I put a little coat on this wax. Spits it up a little bit, and I think it protects it. People watching this can tell me. Clean up some of the scratches on the section here. I didn't do too much with this except the finer polishing. And I was careful to not be taking, I think this is a gold filled lever, fill lever. So I didn't over polish that. This was also kind of scratchy. I'd polished it, and you could still see the really fine scratches. They were just shiny, fine scratches. So I went ahead and did a little bit more sanding on this. I masked this off, and I masked this and that. Went through all the stuff. One of the things I wasn't able to get really well was underneath here. I'll have to do some searching on the internet. So underneath and a little bit around the end of the pocket clip. But I'm pretty happy with the way that all turned out. If I can, what I'd like to do is seal that crack a little bit so it won't go any further. Right now it's being protected by the gold band, and so maybe I just leave one enough alone. So I think that's it. This is, just one of my prettier knives that's going to go right up with this. I think where I've gone now with my collection is, all right, time to show off. This is my my pink nib number 5. And so I pretty much have the flex and line variation I'm ever going to use between this stuff and the modified nib on this one, which was modified for Spencerian, and then the amazing and incredibly cheap Comic G nib on this Jinhao. I think it's 159. So I've got line width down. So now what I want to do is get some stylish, pretty pens that also have that line width. And this one, I would have to say, has all the prettiness that I like. Maybe I should say handsome. All the handsomeness that I like. But it's a little hard to get. You have to press down harder than I like. It's just, a medium flex. It does what I want, but I have to dig into the paper just a little bit more than I like, so it catches a little bit. I could probably polish that away, but as I polish it, then I'll lose some of the fineness. Oh, the dilemmas of fountain pens. But I'm pretty happy with this, and actually I'm on the hunt right now for one that might be more like a standard size. Another one that maybe I could spend some time refurbishing like I did with this one, and one with a little bit more flex. So we'll see in the future if that's in the future. That'll be one of the things I'll be looking for when I go to the San Francisco show, which will be my first pen show in August of this year. I think it's in August. So I hope you got some value out of that. Until next time, thank you for watching.